This one's made by Josephine who's been making movies for a while now. And I haven't actually seen any of them, but they all seem kinda artsy, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. And this one definitely seemed pretty artsy too, but I don't know. It looked kinda interesting to me. So I watched it, and yeah, I've got some mixed feelings about it. And a lot of that has to do with my general feelings about performance art. I just think a lot of it is kinda ridiculous, incredibly pretentious, and I have a real hard time taking it seriously. And this movie deals a lot with that kind of thing. It's about this girl who's in this, I don't know exactly what you'd call it, but some sort of theater group or performance art troupe thing. So you get to see a lot of weird rehearsals and people doing strange things. And that's one issue I had with it, which really doesn't have that much to do with the movie itself. That's more on me than anything. But the first 30 minutes or so didn't help either. It's kinda chaotic and weird and unsettling, and nothing makes a lot of sense. There's this percussive score, these breathing sounds, and a lot of close-ups. The camera never stays still either. And just a lot of strange things happening in general, and it sorta comes across as disjointed. And the thing is, no one tells you what's going on, you just have to slowly piece it together. And at that point I was expecting the whole movie to be like that, which would have been a mess. But turns out that there is a narrative in there, and everything does make some amount of sense. But instead of easing you in, this thing just throws you into the deep end at the beginning. And you just sorta have to stay with it until things start coming together. And I guess this could be considered a tiny bit spoilery, but I wish I had this info going into it. It's about a girl who's dealing with mental illness. And the reason the movie sorta feels chaotic sometimes is because the visuals reflect her mental state. And if I knew that going into it, that would have made the first part of the movie a whole lot better. But I didn't, so I was sorta just scratching my head going, what the hell is going on? But as I said, it does slowly start to make sense, and the movie as a whole just gets a lot better. And the story deals with this girl and her mom, and then there's the woman in charge of the theater thing. And she's pretty much exactly what I'd expect the director of an experimental play to be like. I think insufferable is the word I'm looking for, but the girl looks up to her and is looking for approval. And the relationship with the mom isn't ideal either, although it's not completely terrible. But those are sort of the main things it deals with. The mom, the girl, and the theater woman. And I actually ended up surprisingly engaged and invested in this. Because this thing gets pretty dark and disturbing, but at the same time you really start to sympathize with the girl. She's really struggling to keep it together and to find balance in her life. But then it did sort of lose me there at the very end. There's a bit of a tonal shift and it kinda went off the rails. And as I watched this, I just didn't get it and I really didn't like what they did with it. It didn't work for me. But now, looking back, having had some time to sit with it, I actually do think I get what they were doing, and it makes sense, and it works. That being said, the tone in that last segment still felt off. I mean, it bordered on slapstick, and I don't think it fit in with the rest of the movie. But the point of it and what they were trying to do did work. That being said, I definitely didn't love this movie, but I did sorta like it. There are some really good things about it, and it did stir up a lot of different emotions. And overall it's a bit of a mixed bag, but would I recommend it? If you like artsy movies that try something a bit different, yeah, check it out. Otherwise, probably not. But hey, I'm not your dad.